Hey guys, I know I haven't been posting a lot of content lately, but I hope I have a good one here for you today. I did a thing. I bought a car on Copart, and we're on our way to go get it. It's like 8:15 in the morning, so we're gonna go grab a trailer. We're gonna go down to New Braunfels, Texas. That's where the Copart is for Austin, and we're gonna go pick it up. So I'll see you there.
You will arrive at your destination on the right-hand side after 1,000 feet.
Try to get the sign. It's right here.
You have reached your destination on the right-hand side.
All right, here we are at Copart. We're gonna go in there and we're gonna pick up the car. We're gonna go pay for everything and get all the paperwork done, and then we're gonna get the car. Are you excited, Roman?
Yes!
All right. Guys, here it is. Got it all loaded up. It's a 2006 Nissan 350Z. Got 90,000 miles on it. Engine runs strong. Transmission is shifting perfectly as far as I can tell so far. It goes in each gear. It says it has undercarriage damage, but I didn't see anything while I was under there strapping it. So I guess that's a mystery that we're gonna have to find out. But the body's perfect. The interior is perfect. Low miles, man. This thing is awesome. I got a great deal on it. It does have one major flaw that I can find, and I'll show that to you when we get back. Hey guys, I'm back. It's the next day. It started raining yesterday, so I had to stop filming. But I got the car all washed up. I've actually washed it twice. It's still dirty. It has so much dirt from being in the auction yard for however many months it was. But I've had a chance to get underneath it and check out what the undercarriage damage was. And this is what I found. So it's really hard to tell, but you can see that the body gap for the trunk is just a little bit bigger right here, and it looks like the car may have been rear-ended. I'm not really sure. Maybe they backed into something, because there's a little bit of paint chip right here. You can see the paint kind of cracking right there, but you can really tell underneath. So if you get underneath the car, so here we are underneath. You can see that crease right there. That's the support for the back bumper. So the damage is not even really, it doesn't affect the car, how it drives or handles or anything. It's just a bumper support. One more thing is, I don't even know if you can tell, but there's a dent right here. But that looks like it can be popped out. So I'm gonna try to get that popped out, but everything else, let's do a walk around. The car is in really good shape. The tires are good. Body is good, except for the parts I've already talked about. The interior is good, except for one thing on the interior.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Other than that, the seats are good. It's got heated seats, power seats. Dash is perfect. Doubled in. Rear is perfect. Everything's very nice. Man, it's bright out here. All right, so let's go over some numbers and the auction. I'm sure y'all want to know how much I paid for it and what I learned with my first auction at Copart. So one of the things that I learned after the auction was over with, this was not a pure sale. You want to look for a pure sale. That means that whatever the ending bid is, that's what you're going to get it for. So this one was a reserve or on approval. So that means that the seller had a reserve set for this car. I don't know what it is. But it seems like what's going on, at least with this car, was they set the reserve really high. That was unreasonably high. It was 5,100 or something like that. The car, there would be nothing left. I mean, if I was going to keep the car, then maybe that would still be a okay deal. But I'm not trying to pay that much for this car. So they set the reserve really high, and then it doesn't get met. And then they give you the opportunity at the end, because we didn't need the reserve. It was not even half of the reserve. And they gave me the opportunity to buy it at the reserve price. They told me what the reserve was, gave me opportunity to buy it at that price. I said, no way, I'm not buying that price. So I declined it. And then the seller came back, which was the insurance company. They came back and said, okay, this is all through emails. All right, the minimum that we want to take for the car is $2,700. I was like, I still don't want to pay that much. My max was $2,500 for this car, and even that was kind of pushing it. The only reason why I even wanted this car is because it's such good shape, that it was in much better shape than some of the manuals that I really wanted. So I counter-offered at $22,000, and we went back and forth, and we ended up on $24,500. So it seems like what they do is they set an unreasonable reserve, and that way they can squeeze a couple $100 extra out of you after the auction is over with, to try to make a sale, just to make it so they can make as much as they can. Because they've paid out the previous owner for the car, so they've lost money there, and now they have a car sitting there that's they don't want anymore. So they want to make as much money back as possible. So just be aware of that, and when you're negotiating, that don't go over your maximum bid, because they'll try to bait you into it. So just be aware. All right, so here's the final numbers. We talked about how the auction did not meet reserve, and we negotiated the final price. So some of the things that kind of caught me off guard was how expensive the buyer fees are. Now, I looked at these already before I started bidding, because they list them on the site, basically. I wasn't super surprised, but it's really high. So I knew it was going to be this much, but I don't know. I don't know. Theirs is really expensive. So the internet bid fee, that the only way to get around the internet bid fee is if you go to your local site and you bid in person on their computers. You cannot call in a bid. They don't actually do the auction, live. There's not a person there calling out numbers or anything. So they have computers set up in their lobby where you can bid on their computers, and that's the only way to get around the $80 internet bid fee. Now there's a gate fee of $60, and then the sales tax. So obviously the sales tax fluctuates depending on how expensive your car is, and probably the state that you live in. I'm not really sure. So overall, there was $1,000 worth of fees and taxes. So let's talk about how we can minimize this. So the biggest one that you want to minimize is your buyer fee. And So there's 4 categories, and I was in the most expensive category because of the way that I did this. So the cheapest way to get out of the buyer fees, well, you're not going to get out of them, but to pay the least amount, is if you have to be a dealer and pay with money order. The next is a dealer that pays with a credit card or unsecured payment. And then the third is to be like a personal membership like me. I'm not a dealer, and pay with money order or some sort of secure payment. And the most expensive way is, the way that I did it, is to be just a member and pay with an unsecured payment like a credit card. So that's why I usually use a credit card. So that's why my fees are so high. I'm not a dealer. Don't plan on being a dealer. So I think the only way that I could save any money is the next time I wanted to buy something, I would have to use a money order instead of my credit card. So you can get rid of the internet bid fee, and you can minimize this a little bit, probably 50 or 60 bucks. I'm not really sure off the top of my head, but just be aware of all these charges before you start bidding, because that, especially if you're trying to flip the car, that'll really eat into your profit margin. All right, guys. Well, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the next video, I'm going to try to get the car rebuilt title and get it listed for sale. Maybe do a couple of repairs to it, make it a little bit more desirable, and see if we can't sell it and make a little bit of money. So if you learned something, let me know. If you have any tips or tricks or something maybe I did wrong or I could have done better, also let me know. I'm all ears. So this was my first time. I'm sure I made some mistakes, and I hope you guys learned from some of my mistakes, and I will see you guys next time.